Hey there, teenies! Just wanted to let you know that this is going to be an audio-only episode. We had a bit of a hiccup during the OBS recording, but we didn't want you guys to miss out on the juice we had recorded, so our wonderful Squeakychiona opted to record the audio on her side so that we could still have this episode of Wits and Crits. So on to the episode, and we hope you enjoy. Welcome, teenies new and old, to Wits and Crits, a roundtable Q&A style podcast hosted by me, your dice goblin and resident vanilla guard boy loving ship gremlin, Hayden Davio. I'm the player for Aviana Kolesh, Regan Alis, and Fianula Ione, and apparently the host of this gosh darn show. For those of you who are finding us for the first time, hello! Hi! We are Nat 19. We are a group of actors, performers, and improvisers who have come together through our love of storytelling and mutual nerdery. Today on the show, I have Eric Embleton, or Eric, as well as Anna Garcia, also known as Squeaky! Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome back. Thank you for being on my show.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for having us on the show.
On the show.
The show.
No.
We have to say it all like that from now on. The show.
It's spooky. Again, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell people a little bit about who you play. I speak word money so good. Why don't we start with you, Eric? Who do you play? What you do here, boy?
I play Kyra Volcora in the heckin' Princess of the Apocalypse. I play Gino Angelo in Devils by Surrender, and I play Omar Lawson in sometimes in The Vestig. Vestig.
The Vestig of Focus.
Yep.
And what about you?
I am the resident pink thing of Net 19. I play Marile Injustice, and I played Constance Colibri in the one shot of the Crystal Tieflings. I've not been in a lot yet. I've not been in a lot yet.
But you're here now, and you're not allowed to leave. You stay. So, for those of you who have not tuned into the show before, or you have forgored, as many of us want to do, how this works is I've got a dice tray with a couple of dice that you can get on nat19show.com/shop. I know our website. I do. I promise.
Net19.show.com/shop. Was that right?
No.
Fuck.
Net19shop.org.
.org/show.
Net19show.fuck.
.fuck.
I was trying to bounce off. It was like, that website? Yeah, that website.
That was perfect. It's perfect where we ended up. But as I was going to say, how this show works is I have a dice tray and a couple of dice in front of me here. I'm going to roll a d4 to determine who will be answering the questions. And then I will roll a d6 to determine which question we're going to be asked. We're going to ask. Yup.
Glad we're bringing the Thursday energy into this fucking.
It really is.
Let's do
it. All right. I'm a roll to see. Oh, it's for both of you. So I'm gonna roll a d6. Y'all. Okay. All right. This is interesting. So for both of y'all, what are some things as a role player that you'd love to explore, whether it be with your current characters or future characters, things that you haven't gotten to explore as a role player before that you'd like to touch on? We can start with Anna, if you're down.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking right now, because it's like, when I created Marile, I definitely wanted to try another angle at, like, not so much a tsundere, but like a bit of, like, definitely a bitch. Definitely a bitch. But like almost like because I know, like, even beforehand, me and Logan and Cody had joked that they were gonna be like a bit of like those like married couple kind of vibe energy, and that they would bicker probably a lot. But I almost wanted to explore the dynamic of, like, almost like we were totally forced to get married for our families in that kind of way. We actually hate each other. That like sitcom married couple that actually hate each other, and you're like, why are you even together in the first place? And then it just did not happen. Oh my god, my cough. And I think what I wanted to explore was that thing of, like, when you start off on a bad foot with somebody, And even though they're trying to like make things better by you, you still just are clinging to an unbridled hatred. And then slowly getting over that. Because again, Marile was supposed to be a complete bitch. And completely awful to Nicolo until like it's like you know that he could have just killed you, right? Like but no, that just ended up not working. There was a little bit of that in the very beginning of DMS where she was very like indifferent and not caring that his car was busted, and you know, kind of like looking at her nails and doing whatever and then going off on her own. But then it just kind of, then a child happened. Then it was like and then it was like all of my hatred and negative energy is just out the window, and I can't be a bad example for this child.
I love that.
And then we just got mommy. We just got mommy lay the whole way. And I'm pretty sure early on Nicolo would have probably been like, what happened? She just completely 180'd and all it took was a fetus. Like,
this fantastical fetus with a magical ring.
I still want to believe they definitely had their very bickery moments, because early on they still kind of did. She definitely would try to purposefully piss him off, but she just really just chose to lean off once everything went to shit. It was like something in her brain was like, now's not the time. Now's not the time anymore. We're not playing anymore.
Do you think that's part of like her survivalist skills that she's had to have over her life?
Oh, I think so, definitely. She's definitely had to adapt for like her whole life. Because before knowing that she was a succubus, things would just constantly change around her. Like last game, we explored like what they all did in terms of an education.
Heckin'.
So we're absolutely starting fresh. This
First
is absolutely
take.
First take. There's been no changes whatsoever. So as we were saying with the question where I asked you guys what are some things as a role player that you would love to explore, and we got talking about Marile having to talk about her education, and you were saying that you had to kind of think of that on the fly. How did you kind of get to the point where you did, where she was with her schooling?
So I had to think about the fact that it's like, okay, so she has no idea of her parentage. So definitely abandoned. And then it's like, well, if you also think about where she is, like somewhere in Spain, and it's like there's a Europe in general, there's a very big Catholic presence, and so it's like, okay, the obvious kind of outdated idea, but like the idea of leaving a baby by the church and a church-run orphanage, and it's like, okay, well, what would they do in a church-run orphanage / school that I just made up in my mind? And it's like, okay, they would teach first and foremost Jesus, worshiping Jesus, doing and living your life for the Lord. And maybe she had like a tummy ache here and there, because I don't think Devil May Cry has any precedent of demons and such being in a church and feeling wibbly. So maybe she just got a wibble here and there, but was fine. And then it's like, usually, at least I've seen in media, orphanages after a certain age, they're like, you can leave if you want. We have just too many mouths to feed. And probably maybe early mid-teens, Marile would have just decided, yeah, I can leave. I'm in the process of developing, and my succubus powers are coming up. Those succubus powers that I actually have no idea about, and men are looking at me funny. And it just kind of just all came at once, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's do that. And then on after that, it was like, okay, well, now you're an orphan with absolutely no support network at all on the streets, and you know that for some reason you can influence people in some way. What do? And it's just like, well, I guess only thing I can do is use what I have, and what I have is me. So and then kind of going from there. But it's like, did your education help you any? Absolutely not. So it made her again have to adapt. So like in a church environment, you have to be a good girl, you have to listen to the nuns and the priests, and then, well, this isn't working anymore, so now it's a whole new ballpark. What do? I need to live. I need to make sure I have a roof over my head. I need to make sure I have food. I need to make sure I have money. And that all details, I couldn't think all up in the head without taking forever. So it's just she figured it out. She figured it out, and she charmed people unknowingly, and that's it. So that was
So
also
interesting.
yeah, just
Mhm.
a lot of on the fly stuff. I don't think I'm particularly good at on the fly stuff, but like it's
That read completely to me as if you had it planned. So like,
no.
How I totally reacted to it, I was like, oh, Anna's just had this, like, ready
Yeah.
to go. And they've
Nope.
known this. You say, how dare you? You sit there and say, oh, I'm not good at on the fly shit. Fuck you.
how dare
How
you?
dare you? I thought you just had that ish prepped and ready to go, and you've been holding on to that nugget of lore.
Nope.
No, that was it was incredible.
Nope. It just pooted out of my brain hole.
Which really goes to show your strength as a role player and like as an improv actor, because you were able to just come up with this very in-depth backstory for your character who, like, we've been playing these characters for almost 3 years at this point. It shows how much you know Marile,
Yeah.
or Merrily, as we called her.
Merrily. Merrily.
Merrily.
The-
Merrily she goes.
the littlest bit of cringe early on where I was like,
Oh
Yep.
man.
It happens in every campaign. It happens every time. Miriam
Yeah.
was Miriam for a while. Aviana was Aviana, which is the easiest mistake. Well, I'll give you that one. We didn't talk about pronunciations, but like everyone, there's always mispronunciations at every campaign, and I love it. But
Yeah.
so outside of that, like, is there anything more like that as a role player, like, I want to dig into these sorts of themes, or I want to play these sorts of scenes with people, or explore like, what would you like to explore more as a role player outside of that?
I
If
I
there's
can't.
anything.
I'm trying to think where I'm not quite sure. I've kind of dipped my toes a little bit into everything. I've had I've played a gremlin. I've played a tsundere before. I've played like a cute uwu shy awkward girl. I've played a little bit of everything. I think one that I did want to play that I just kind of didn't get to due to some conflicts was not so much like an emotionally dead person, but like just someone that is very monotone. Like they feel a lot, but they just cannot express it. So just half the time they're just like this and like, no, I care. I really do. It's just this is my default and I don't know what to do about it. I've been through a lot, you see. Like, but I can't say my interim game character that's coming up isn't that. So it's but maybe I can touch upon that one day.
Oh, I'll definitely be bringing you guys on to talk about the interim games because I'm very excited about
I'm
those, and
I'm looking so forward to playing her. She's gonna be so much fun, I hope.
I can't wait. I am very excited to see what you do with her. Heck, and what about you, Eric? What are some things or themes as a role player that you would love to explore?
I would. I've one thing that I feel like I've always kind of struggled with is playing a character that is like, combative isn't the right word, but like, one that it has no issue being so if the need calls for it. Like
Mm-hmm.
with and like kind of like a like someone who's like kind of like a smarmy prick a little bit. Like I feel like that'd be kind of fun to try, but I'm always so nervous about like, oh no, am I good? Is it going to be too much? Are people going to hate it? Am I gonna be a problem player? Like I just like it's one of those things that I want
Mm-hmm.
to overcome that hurdle in my mind.
Mm,
Um, but I think that's something like that would be fun to try at some point. Um,
like a more dubious character.
yeah, because I usually play like
Good
good
boys.
characters. Like yeah,
Good
good.
boys.
A lot of
Um,
good boys.
and I want to try to mix that up at some point. Um, so yeah, that's one thing. There's some old character concepts as well from like back in the day that I tried doing uh in like certain campaigns, and I'm just like, that didn't really get explored. I would love to try to like reinvent that and try it again. Just to like actually see it like come to fruition and like kind of play out fully. Um, there's several examples of those in the Tomb campaign we did a while back. Um, but as far as existing characters goes, I would love to explore like Kyra's like hometown and her upbringing there and shit like that. Um, heckin' if I had all the time in the world with Omar, I would love to delve into his heckin' backstory as well and like all the shit he got into over in I think it's Alvasa.
Yeah.
Um, and that would be fun. But yeah, I think that's a lot of those are the kind of ideas like floating around in my brain. Like I would also to bring up a one-off character. Callus is a character that I'm like, what's he been up to? Like in the 20 years since that session, what has he been up to?
What's he doing? I know nothing of Callus, but I love him.
He's just a fraidy cat who's been shoved into a Power Rangers situation.
Oh, he's a bean.
Put on the suit. Get in the team.
Oh, I don't want to.
This is where I'd munch an apple if I had one.
I don't have an apple, but I do have coffee, so just
I've got bubbly.
hell yeah. Hell yeah, thank you guys. Alright, we're gonna ask another question. Yeah. Okay. That's gonna be for Eric. Eric! We're gonna roll a d6.
Saul.
Okay. Oh, this kinda speaking of Kyra, Apollo, do not bite my legs, please. I love you so dearly. I'm not chicken or beef, please. He meows in response. Alright, so for Kyra. In Kyra's conversation with her mother, her mom mentioned that she's a lot softer than she pretends to be. Is there a reason Kyra puts on more of a tough front?
We covered that a little bit the last time, where she kind of put on a tougher front, in order to kind of convince herself that she was strong enough to pursue the goal she had for herself, which was to find Yuri. I think that's just kind of she's always kind of had that like rough and tumble energy a little bit. Like even when she was just a little kid, she's like kind of because she got bullied a lot, so she kind of like was just like always picking fights and like retaliating and shit. And that was just kind of her whole personality back then. She was very like a troublemaker and just a very bitter, like like confrontational person back then. And I think the energy is just like some of that energy has just kind of stuck around a little bit, but in a much less aggressive way.
Is there anything in particular that's kind of softened her? Like in recent months, I guess, like during like Princes or even during Waterdeep, is there anything in particular that's kind of brought those walls down a little bit?
Well, the walls, those like those walls definitely started to collapse as soon as Yuri came into her life, but in the recent months, um, I'd say it was I think it was the first death situation that we had also discussed before, where it's like the tough bitch act ain't working out. I gotta switch it up.
Yeah.
And I think just having as many close friends as she does now, I think just it has softened her gradually as well. Because when she was back home, she had like Yuri, and there was like a couple of random people, and that was about it. But like she has so many like friends now that she really loves, that are just kind of helping her out with that.
Yeah. I love it. I've loved as a like role player alongside you, witnessing her growth and just kind of seeing who Kyra's become from the beginning of Princes, because I only saw her briefly during Waterdeep, like any time I'd like just tune in when I like first joined Nat 19, but like during Princes, like I've seen her grow and change, and like that toughness is still there. That's not to say that that's not part of her, because you know, when you put on that act for so long and you use that as a defense mechanism for so long, it really becomes a part of who you are.
Yeah, for sure.
It becomes part of your personality, like saying "oh meow" or "poggers." Looking at you, Parnell.
That's definitely a defense mechanism for sure.
You know what I mean. Like certain things, you do them enough, they become part of like
Yeah.
who you are, part of your vocabulary. But she's definitely changed, and like as like a character, like Regan has noticed that Kyra is more open. Like there's a little pockets that she can see more of who Kyra really is, and I think it's just been really interesting watching her journey. So thank you
I
for
think
sharing that.
Yeah, I think having Regan around as well, in particular, is like because she is so very like open about shit, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like I think that is kind of rubbing off on Kyra slightly as well. Just like this person, this person is someone who I'm like emotionally, I feel very like connected to. Like I feel like I can come to her with shit, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
that's I feel like that just kind of helps with that whole like walls letting down thing as well. More so than like other characters, because like Maxine is not someone who Kyra feels like she can like approach with. She can approach Maxine for some stuff, but like the deep, heavy emotional shit, I feel like she wouldn't go to anyone but Regan.
Yeah, it's fair. When you have a team mom, you take advantage.
Yeah.
Mom, what's up, baby?
It is really funny
Oh,
to
they hurt
consider
you?
that.
I'll kill you. I'll kill them.
Go ahead.
It's really funny to consider how both Thursday games, in some way, shape, or form, have a mom.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
Very different moms, but moms.
Very different. God, to put Regan and Marile in a room together.
Oh God.
Well, your approach is definitely unique.
It works. You know
And
what
if you're
else is good at
happy-
work?
What?
Me.
I'm sure that you excel in your field.
You want a
You're
sample?
very pretty.
Here's
I'm
my
scared.
card.
At this point, Manny would definitely chime in and be like, she's a firefighter.
Yeah, if you ever have like a microwave fire, she'll put it out. I put out more than that, Manny.
I love that running joke so much.
It's so good. Oh, that with Dante is like, yeah, she is. Oh, we fought Dante. Woo! All right. Sorry, I was thinking about the gay panic that is Regan next to Marile, and my brain just melted a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
She would stand no chance. Like, I have a girlfriend. But you're very pretty. Heavy breathing. Like, okay. Anyway, gay panic aside, we're gonna ask another question. Thank you very much for your beautiful and thoughtful answer, Eric. Yeah. I'm gonna roll again. Habia. Oh, killy doke, it's for a na. I guess we're going with the higgity heckin' first one.
To the lovely pink lady Anna. Marile has obviously tried to take a motherly role with Manny since basically the beginning of the campaign. But I was curious that whether or not she actually does adopt Manny, would Marile be interested in actually having children of her own, perhaps with a certain Italian she definitely doesn't like? And does she think she even deserves that kind of life?
What I'm hearing is, does Marile think she would be a good mother and worse someone putting buns in her oven? So making some little pizza rolls of her own. Oh man, I wish I had more Pillsbury pizza puns, but I don't. So
Little pizza buns.
it's funny because it's like, again, I mentioned before, Marile has had no motherly experience. She's never had a mom. And now with last game, it's like she was essentially raised by nuns and priests that are subjective and whether they're good or not. So that's that thing where she already didn't think that she was someone worth Nicolo's time. That she thought that if Nicolo was to ever want to pursue romance and a family and a normal life, she already wrote herself off as a potential person that could give him that. She in a way sees herself as a kind of not broken, although kind of broken, but a very like warped, tarnished idea of what a woman should be. Actually, she just thinks that she's well aware that like a lot of society would look down on her on what she does and judge her. So she's like she sees herself as essentially a walking stigma. She would probably really need to consider what she wants to do with herself to then completely uproot how she's lived her life to then be like, no, you can be a mom, you can live a normal life, you can be a quote unquote upstanding, woman or things like that. She's got a bit of a very jaded, twisted perspective. She is very aware that she is not normal. And the fear of that essentially rubbing on Nicolo scares her, and also with how she was supposed to be is why she was also a huge bitch. So, because she was like, I cannot let this man love me in any sort of way. I need this man to be able to leave me on a dime the moment he finds whatever he actually wants and cares about. So while she is definitely like into the idea of raising Manny because he's already like halfway there, it's just he, like all the hard, molding of a little globule of flesh into an upstanding person. It's like you're already halfway there with Manny. He already knows right from wrong. He's a little excitable, but you can work with that. You've got a pretty solid foundation here. With Baby, you have to make that part, and she has no idea how. And she knows that Nicolo would probably be better at doing it than her, but she also doesn't know if Nicolo would be good at that. There's so much when it comes to then having to raise your own little human, that even if she adopted Manny and raised him to an 18-year-old and set him out into the world, it's like she probably still wouldn't feel confident that she could raise a kid. She'd do her damnedest. But there's that doubt where it's like, I don't know if I'd be a good mother until I become one, but that's the problem.
Yep.
What if I become a mother and I'm not good at it?
Yeah.
So it's a terrifying prospect for her. That's something she needs therapy. Everyone needs therapy.
Like I say about all D&D parties, everyone in a D&D party needs so much therapy.
If you don't need therapy, then why are you an adventurer? What are you doing here?
Why are you adventuring? It makes me think though, because like this is like assuming she would take on this role, or it's like if she did take on this role, Marile is kind of like at an interesting crossroads once everything's done with the Adromelech and everything. Is there anything that she has wanted for herself out of life? Like if she could choose, like really choose what to do with her life after everything is said and done, does she have any like dreams of her own that she's like, I want to pursue that, or I want to take this path in life? Like what does Marile really want for herself outside of everyone else? Like Pizza Man aside, Manny aside, she as her own woman, what does she want out of life?
I think she hasn't really taken the time to think about that. She's been so worried about everybody else. She's been so busy being team mom that she has not thought about herself.
Mhm.
She That's that thing where it's like, and again, I think they talked about it with Nicola, where she was like, now that this is all, now that, hell is literally like come out of the ground and turned everything upside down. It's like, I could just, we're not running from the Order of the Sword anymore. That's the reason we were in our predicament. I could just go back to Spain and start up what I was doing again. I was pretty up there socialite and stuff. I could go back to do that and like reclaim my money and my old life. But a part of her is like, but I don't want that, or at least like I don't want to go back to being alone.
Mhm.
Because obviously she wouldn't assume that Nicolo's gonna come with her, even though he probably would. And it's like, yeah, we can do that. We can have a normal, nice socialite life, but also like I did that because I needed to survive, not because I liked it. I indulged in it. And but like if I could have lived any other different way and had complete control, I probably would have, but I wouldn't know where to start. So I feel like at the end of this thing, she's gonna probably be doing a lot of like internal exploring to kind of find out what she's like actually passionate about, because
Mhm.
she's never had to think about that. It's been very like, you can think about that once your needs are met, the roof, the food, the clothes. And she just kind of got absorbed into that because it was like, I I need to make sure that this is good, and then all of that can happen. But all of that never happened. So she's gonna have to do a lot of thinking. She's not even thought about that. She's like, I need to live through this
Mhm.
first before I think about what next. So like when everyone goes into the conversation of like, well, what next? And she's like, what next? What about what now? Like she's very in the now. Like, first off, like
Mhm.
y'all talking like we're already out. Like like y'all see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see shit. Like, what are you talking about? Like
Yeah, she and Theo both.
like like, first off, yeah, exactly. Fio. Like, first off, what are we doing about Fio? What do you mean? What are we doing once we're out of here? We're not out of here yet. Fio's here now.
Yeah.
So she's very in the now. She's right now. She's like, I'll think about that when I get there. That bridge is. I'm nowhere near that bridge.
That bridge is in the distance, and I can't even get there yet.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So she's.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense, especially for having had been a survivor. You
mm-hmm.
have to live in the moment
Mm-hmm.
because thinking beyond that, everything beyond the present is uncertain. So what's the point of thinking beyond that?
Mm-hmm. It's
So
funny
I just
because
find that interesting.
lately we've been watching some of like Has Been, and we're not gonna go into Has Been, but like watching Angel Dust has been very like,
I need to
Oh
watch Has
no.
Been.
yeah, I'm not gonna
Everyone
go
wants to
into
sing
it.
the songs with me, and I'm like, okay, I
Yeah,
should
I've
probably watch
been
this
I've
show.
I've been watching Has Been, and I've been watching Angel Dust, and I'm just kind of like, Marile's like, me too, me too.
Same though.
I get you. I understand.
Oh,
Uh
yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate how thoughtful y'all's answers are. Right, help you out. Okay. It's for Eric. Now,
Ooh.
okay. I almost asked you an Anna question. Now I started reading. I was like, wait,
Oh, let me tell you
that.
everything there is to know about Marley.
Listen. Okay, for Gino, no.
Well,
Recently, Gino has been hearing remnants of Machiavelli in the Adramelech, and now outside of it, down in the hellscape that we are in, just hearing Machiavelli in his brain hole. What does he make of this? Does he believe it's just because of the failed attempt for Machiavelli to use the armor, or does he believe that there might be a chance that even part of Machiavelli might be within him?
Ah, he is definitely worried. I think at one point, I think it might have been Briar. I mean, it would have had to have been Briar, I think. But he said that like something about like how he manifests his echo or something has something to do with that or something like an echo of Machiavelli is within you or something like that. I think is what was said at one point. Um, and I think he might be starting to think about that now, being like, "Oh man, I hope that's not." Just shut the fuck up. Just leave me alone. Just go away. Go away. He just is. He doesn't want to believe that, but he knows it's probably true. Um, but ultimately, he's like, just I don't. I I'm me. You're something. You're done. Your time is done. You're just an echo. That's all you are. So I need to just fucking put up with you until I can get out of this thing, and then you know what? If there is something left in it, then fucking I guess I'll probably kill you afterwards.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think he is kind of has his eyes on the finish line and is just trying to struggle to get to it as fast as he can.
Just trying to get through all this as himself instead of leaning into what he could be or what he fears he could be.
Basically, yeah. Like he I as a player am thinking like, oh man, is he gonna have to like try to embrace this shit in order to like unlock the full like gambit of his fucking armor powers? If that's the case, then Gino's gonna flat out reject all of it. Like
Wow.
he would rather not have that power than to embrace the whatever part of Machiavelli is in there with him.
So, in the case where, especially because last game, making saves and all that stuff and hearing Machiavelli, um, would he? So you're saying he would prefer to be like, I don't want this devil trigger ass power. If it means embracing Machiavelli, I would rather just stay as myself.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
Um Unless, of course, like it came down to the wire and like Manny was about to like die or something. Like if in that scenario, I think he would sacrifice just about anything to keep
Mhm.
Manny safe. Um Even if it meant losing a part of himself in the process. But yeah, as long as that's not happening, he's like, "Fuck you, you're not me. Just stay away. You go over in the corner and just let me do my thing."
You go into that quiet corner of my brain, you look at the wall, and you think about how not you are, or how not me you are. I don't know. You sit over there and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense for Gino, and is honestly really commendable. Um, because I'm sure there's a part of you as a player is like, "I want a motherfucking double trigger. Come
Oh,
on,
yeah.
DT." But like, I think it's a testament to both you as a role player and to the strength of this character that you know where that decision lies. I think that's really neat and really interesting and makes for, I say this a lot, but it makes for great TV. It's so interesting to watch Gino struggle with this part of himself, but ultimately he's deciding that he wants to just be who he is, and I think that is beautiful.
Hmm.
uh I There's a part of me that I'm like, fuck you, Logan, for doing this. Is that none of us heard this, but as I remember as we were going down like into hell, um Briar was talking to Pito and he said something along the lines of, okay, we need to talk about the body. And I'm like,
Right,
what
yes.
do you mean, motherfucker? What are you
Yeah, I don't know
talking
what that
about?
means. I
I
mean,
can't
they must mean
wait.
Machiavelli's body,
They
but
have
what are
to.
they
There's
gonna
no,
do with it?
yeah, it's like, what do we
Like,
do about it? It's like, what do you mean? So I'm like, maybe it's like the current state of the body. It could be like they they definitely know more than they're letting on. because obviously they fucking do, but like I'm so curious what that means.
Yeah, I have no fucking clue.
And it's gonna be a while till we find out, because I've been thinking since just game yesterday. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so bad. I'll talk to you all after the recording because I don't want to Choilers chat. But whoo, buddy, thinking about some shit.
Oof.
But yeah. Oh, I love Gino no. Just like I love asking questions. I do like answering questions, but I like asking them more because I'm a curious being, and that's why the show exists. What's for both? Ow! And so for the both of yous, speaking of Briar,
Oh.
to both, there were some jokes about Briar being a secret villain, and Pito makes tons of jokes about not trusting Arden, which kind of fair, being that he is Munda's baby. Who out of the party and their allies do you think would be the most likely to betray the party, be it willingly or otherwise?
Well, if we learned anything from last session, Marile would be accidentally.
How would Marile accidentally betray the party?
Well, by accidentally killing Arden, clearly.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay, you were making a hilarious Jafe.
It's just like everyone was doing so well. Arden was doing so well, and then he's the only one that fucking failed the role.
That is the most D&D situation ever, though.
I was like, it doesn't. I really was like, I'm gonna use this spell, and like, even if I break concentration, like I know I will, I can still freaking have a gotcha bitch moment. Oh no, it's Arden.
Oh no, gotcha bitch, I'm sorry. Oh, it's so funny.
Fucking, I think honestly, if anyone in the party was gonna do it, it would be unwillingly, and it would be Gino. Is what I feel like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a possibility that like this whatever echo of Machiavelli could just take over and be like, "Fuck all of you, get out of my workshop." Like,
I can see Gino getting brainwashed and us having like an Iron Giant moment, and then he flies into the sun saying Superman.
Yeah, exactly like that. And honestly, that's entirely possible with how many movies he's seen with Manny.
I was about to say, like Manny's on the ground watching Gino do this. He's like, Superman.
Oh,
yeah. That's Gino's first and last movie reference.
Oh god.
Outside the party though? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I know I'm not answering questions here, but I'm like, Theo probably. I'm seeing the signs, and I'm like, oh.
Oh
yeah. You think the Virgil insider might take over at some point?
The light buried deep within her.
She
might have to cast it aside.
I actually a little inkling of me yesterday was kind of like possibly Theo, in that like I'm going to fight you guys because it means that Dante won't kill you guys. Where it's
I
like
was a little tempted.
Where it's like Dante is clearly not going to budge. He has made it very clear it's Dante, because it's like Marile was gonna say like, hey, like we killed Lilith, we killed Lucifer, we killed Veilfar, we killed the giant. Is that not enough to prove that we're good enough? And like Dante didn't even let her finish that sentence. So it's like no,
Dante, yeah.
It doesn't matter who we've beaten to get here. It's Dante, and that's that thing where Theo would have like in my head I would have been like Theo would probably aid Dante in beating the shit out of us on the rule that don't kill them. I'll go with you. I'll push them around so that they can't follow us, but don't kill them. And it'd be that sort of kind of betrayal. And it would hurt even more because Arden would be like, I don't want to fight you, Theo. But like, she's got to do it. Because
I thought
that would have been like, the ripping my soul.
That's why she asked do I take part in this, or is it just them against you? Because I wasn't sure if Theo was going to be allowed to fight with them because it was them proving that they could protect her the same way that he could. But I think it was interesting. I think Nicolo said something along the lines of, it's like, no, you're protecting. It was either Nicolo or Gino. I can't remember. It was a blur. It's like, it's about you protecting yourself as well, which I thought was really interesting and really shows how much these people care about her. But I'm like, I think Theo, depending how things go with putting all the sword bits in her, depending how things go with that, Layden said she was the key to all of this, and the only way to really stop this was to kill her. I don't know if Spencer remembers that, but that's what was said to Arden in Layden's dying moments. And I've been thinking about that ever since. So,
Yeah.
this is gonna be so fucking bad. I can't wait though. But I agree with you though, to wind it all the way back. Yeah, I think it might
definitely
be
I definitely had thoughts about that fucking in the last session. That like the conversation went a certain way with Dante after Arden like spoke up, so like I don't think it's gonna happen anymore. But it still could, so I don't want to say it, but maybe I'll like mention it after game or something, or after recording or something like that.
You should, because I have shit I want to bring up too. Oh, party betrayals are fun.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. I've thought about, for a long time, I've thought about what happens if like Machiavelli takes over Gino, and like what would that mean? You know, like, and it just like, oh, it's such juice, but it would be so sad.
There's also like how like again one of the reasons Dante was like not you, Arden, because it's like it seems to imply, at least I got the implication that like Mundus, his blood or his influence could even take over Arden.
That's another thing. Like
so I feel like
Dante has a
also
reason
Arden could be a
yeah.
Well, I mean, Arden's blood was used to open the portal to the Hells that destroyed the Order of the Sanguine Heart. That's how Layden destroyed it. That's how he, like, that was part of the experiments that Arden was going through. So that's true. So I think it might also be a proximity thing, is that Arden's latent abilities from Mundus could react to Theo. Just if she is the entire Yamato and has the entire thing within her, then fuck.
Yeah, because Dante, I think, even was like, I'm sure you're great, but you know,
they can't
proximity.
smooch. The portal to hell might open. You might create a rift if you
two
smooch.
smooching will bring Mundus to this world.
It's like, fuck.
Man,
imagine if that's the fucking thing that made him go, okay, definitely not you. Because Theo's like, I want to kiss him on the face.
No.
Like, no.
They say sex is like when two worlds collide, but these are two worlds we don't want colliding in any way, shape, or form, Theo. I think you've just buried the hatchet here.
I don't know. I just learned what the crush is. She don't know shit.
It's just really funny to think about. It's like that I want to believe that was the line that Dante was like, no.
Yep.
No smooching.
Outside
Logan, you can tell us. What were you saying, Eric?
No, I was just going on back onto the question for a sec of like, outside the party, I'm not sure who would end up being like if there would, I don't know if it would be a betrayal from Briar or Pito, because I feel like those are the only two characters it could be at this point. Because I don't think the fucking Knights or the Order are gonna come back and be like, fuck you.
No.
So yeah, those are really the only two candidates left for a betrayal, and I don't think it'll be either of them personally. But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah,
what
I
they're
think
doing
they're
with that heckin'
definitely
body.
withholding. They're withholding information, but I don't think they're gonna betray us. But watch me be wrong. What were you gonna say, Anna?
I was gonna say, I was like on the similar thing of like, I think they're definitely withholding information, but I think it's it's that thing of like they feel like whatever information they have is just a little bit dubious enough that the party might then start actually legitimately questioning them, and then just
Mhm.
deciding not to roll with what we have to do. And maybe that's why they're withholding things. Pito, it's like Pito's been very clear, be like, you should kill Arden. Like
Yeah.
I don't think Pito's gonna betray us. Pito is I don't think conniving sneakiness is in his programming. He's been very, very blunt.
He's joked about it
He's been
at
very
multiple
Cube.
points.
He's been very Cube. It's gonna be you didn't ask. Whereas Briar, it's like, he's kind of like, I didn't lie to you. I just didn't tell you everything. Like,
It's not
but
a lie. It's not the whole truth.
yeah, and it's like, and he's like, and I've been helping you this whole time. Like, can you really call this a betrayal? Or more like, this is more like an arrangement. Like
Yep.
that's where I feel like Briar wouldn't see any potential betrayal as a betrayal. It's gonna be you didn't see this coming. You thought I was entirely on your side, and that's on you. But
Yeah.
I also know Briar really wants his things back, and I also wouldn't blame. I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, "This is how I get all my things back. If I just do this quick little heel turn." But it's hard to say, yeah.
I suppose we'll see when it comes down to it. I'm curious to see where the rest of the story goes. It's so juice right now.
Oh, yeah.
I am so scared. But I'm a roll the dice, hope yours for Anna. And I'm gonna roll a d6, hope y'all. That's a different question. Just because I don't want to ask that one. Okay, there we go. No. It was a long time ago, like early DMS.
Oh man.
It was a long time ago now. That Marile was charmed by the succubi. Does that change how she views her own powers at all? Or like has it like impacted how she views her own abilities since it was done to her?
Huh. I remember that moment too.
Mhm.
Cause like it's shown a couple times that Marile in her own way can kind of get flustered pretty easily. She can be taken off guard, and I'm sure there have been moments where the succubi and the incubi at the Angel's Light have tried to kind of test her, and like maybe because it's like she's only half, like maybe tried to almost kind of like haze her, probably. Because clearly, especially Jasper and Violet. Oh hell yeah, I remember their names. But like,
Go baby.
but like, they clearly seem like the type that this wouldn't have been the first time that they've hazed her or any newer person to the work environment. So she's probably had like minor excursions with them, but this is the one where it's like, oh, this isn't to like joke around or to like get on one's nerves and stuff. This is intent. But at the same time, it's like Marile's always, even if like not always confident in her abilities, at least able to give off the air of confidence. Like she called freaking Lilith a fucking an opening act. Like she's good at putting up her own airs. But I think what probably, if anything, it's kind of shown her that like I can do that too. But what would make me get to that point? And in this case, once she realized that it was like, we have to do this because it's either you or us, she kind of understood. Like she doesn't resent them for what they did. She didn't like them, but she also is like, you did it because you had to. This was how you survive. Does it mean she'd ever stoop to that level? I don't know, because she's never been in a predicament where she has to like wittingly like force her charms on somebody because she's also very pro consent. So it's like
Mhm.
she's a little bit of a walking contradiction. So now that she's aware of it, she's so like she'll throw a charm here and there, but she still draws a line, you know?
Yeah.
I think it would take a lot to make her be like, I have to like full on charm to get what I want. And she was kind of willing to do that with Dante. But then it didn't work. So it was I think to save herself or other people, she probably would if she could first get over the hurdle of like, oh wait, what? So I think it would really depend on the situation.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It's like using it more tactically than just to like fuck with people.
Yeah, she wouldn't throw that level of coercion around unless there was something she really needed or really wanted, or again for like a survival thing.
That makes sense. Marile is always so interesting to me. And like the Angel's Light arc was it was intense and really fun. God, that was so long ago.
That was session 7.
That was
a
long time ago.
God. We're gonna be session 50 this weekend.
Yup.
That's bonkers.
Very.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you very much for your beautiful answer. I'm gonna ask another question, y'all. It's for both of you. Let's see. I'm gonna roll a d4 because there's only 2 questions left for this. Okay. For both of you, what are some things that have changed or have surprised you about your characters since their conception and since you started playing them? Like, obviously, we've touched on Marile was supposed to be like a bit of a bitch, and like she's gone sort of a different direction once Manny was involved. Is there anything else that you've kind of noticed in their journey and their change kind of along the way?
I'll let
We can
Eric go
start with-
first.
I was gonna say, I'm like, let Eric go first on
Yeah.
this one.
Gino definitely started out as being, I mean, he is still kind of like this, like he's still battle hungry, like he still loves fighting and stuff, but like I feel like there's more situations, especially with what happened in last session, where he's tried to like find another solution that isn't just beat the shit out of the thing in front of me. Which that is something I would have never pictured him really doing at the beginning. And that was interesting. It also is like it kind of tracks though because his wisdom is higher now, so I'm like fuck it. But for Kyra, I mean the shift that she had from the the cockiness to the cautiousness, that was something that I never expected either. And yeah, for trying to think of like like Omar. I mean he didn't really he didn't really have anything because he was so limited. But oh well, actually no, that's not true. Because heckin' right at the end, after like the whole dragon, or not Tiamat.
I mean,
what's his
the Tenebros.
Right. Yes. After that whole thing with him, and his friend got their soul back. The thing that really heckin' surprised me with him is like that he kind of like entered the forgiveness phase for himself because he kind of hated himself for a long time and kind of put up a front of like I'm just this chill laid back dude trying to help people. But meanwhile he was doing it all because like I'm such a bad person. And after that he started to be like I feel genuinely satisfied with I feel like I've done a good thing today and that makes me feel good, and that's the first time in years that that's happened.
Oh, I love Omar. I've made no secret of that, but Yeah, that makes sense. And you could kind of feel while Omar is a low int character, I do remember when we were up in the throne room during the whole Tenebros arc, when we all went upstairs and we saw everyone crystallized and we were talking to Vindy. Omar has a lot more insight, and he's more like, he's emotionally intelligent for sure. But he has a lot more going for him in the intelligence department that he lets on, I think. At least from like what I witnessed. Mind you, I was just like sitting there in character crying my face off because my bestie was a statue and that hurt my
Yeah.
entire being. That just
Mhm.
makes me cry a lot.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is great. I love it. I live for it. But that, and then the Underdark stuff, like, I noticed a change. Like, I'm just picking up on like what you're kind of putting down there, is that there was a change in his kind of attitude. He seemed like less putting on the chill vibe and more like he was settling a little bit into himself between the end of the Tenebros fight and then going to find the Drow in the Underdark.
Yeah, I think he's definitely more like he's a lot more comfortable with himself now. I think he's not at he hasn't forgiven himself, but he is in the process of forgiving himself for
Mm-hmm.
terrible things that happened in his backstory. Which is part of, again, why I mentioned earlier I would love to explore that if given the chance, but obviously there's really no opportunity for that.
Hey, you never know. Campaign 2 Electric Boogaloo is, a while off, but you never know. Could bring back Mr. Lawson
Yeah,
if
who
there's ever a
knows?
chance.
Look at those.
Who knows? But yeah, I love watching the journeys of characters. It's so freaking interesting to me.
Yeah, it's such an interesting, fun thing when you
Mm-hmm.
like have a reaction as a character. It's like, oh, why did that happen?
Yeah, you're like, what?
Like,
Where did that come from?
like fucking. I think another example of that is in the same session that y'all were just talking about with Marley, um, where the succubi like possessed him, and he
Mm-hmm.
just reacted so violently and like just viscerally to that. And in the moment I was like, oh man, this is I didn't expect this, but okay. Like, because at the time he still was under the impression that like he was just this demon that was plucked from his fucking life and forced to fight for Machiavelli, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So like him being forced to fight for someone again was like, no, nuh-uh, fuck you. Fuck everything. I hate this. Ultimately we realized that's not what ended up happening, but like it was still something I just was like, I didn't expect that to happen at all.
I love that. Like, what about Shu? And na. Outside of
um,
things that we've already touched on, of course.
I think Marile ended up being a lot more selfless than I thought she would be.
Mm-hmm.
Because she came from such a survival kind of like thing where she's got to figure out her first and everything else comes second. And yet in this case, it's like she's put everyone before her. Where like she's thinking like, you know, after this, what's Nicolo gonna do? Like, you know, maybe Nicolo's life and how she shouldn't let herself be with Nicolo, wanting to help like Fio and Arden understand their feelings for one another. And like as soon as she like learned that Fio was interested in Arden, she immediately backed off. Not that she was interested, but like immediately was like, no. Or like seeing Manny and how he needs like actual like responsible adult figures, and like standing up to the knights and being like, you guys can't raise this kid, you guys suck. Like um like she obviously has had her little wiles and had her fun along the way, but definitely put herself kind of on a front line and like not concerned, like, or like when Agnes like was like clearly like trying to go after Nicolo and like get rid of the party too, where she was like, nope, I'm getting on this helicopter. I'm getting on this helicopter and I'm gonna freaking fuck shit up because they're not taking anybody here. those were moments where I was like, you're about to do something really stupid that can end up with you dead. You know that, right? And she's like, yes, I am. Like,
Abso-fucking-lutely I am.
yes, I am. I need to protect them. That's something that I was like, she's really doing that. Like, she's not putting herself first and foremost anymore. It's not about her. So that was something that at those moments where I was like, yeah, she's those caught me by surprise. I feel like proto Modile wouldn't have done half the things current Modile did. She would have definitely thought of her first. But no, our Modile has not done much of that. She's done her shenaniganry, but it's mostly because it's like she can get away with it, not because someone was in immediate danger and she needed to go. Like, that's one big thing that really jumps to mind when I really like think about the course of the game. It's like you've put yourself in really like you put yourself in some situations that benefit you in no way being. You didn't have to get on the helicopter. You know how that could have you knew very well how that could have ended. You didn't have to get all up in the You didn't have to get up. I think it was Veilfar. Like, she just got all up in his face with the dimension door again. Like, she was like, I'm gonna get all up in his face. I'm gonna kick his nose in. Like, you know that could have ended bad, but you did it anyway.
Respect.
Dimension door is Marley's fuck around spell.
I'm gonna fuck around. You're about to find out. Do you think her protective nature, and this kind of comes from playing a character who has always been like for themselves, but is a lot more selfless than I expected them to be. It's cough cough. It's Aviana. Shocking. But do you think that she's more selfless around these people because she knows what it's like to need? Like, she knows what it's like to go without?
I think so. Yeah. Like, it's that thing of like with how the group is and the circumstances that we've been put in. It's like right now we've only got each other. It's like, yeah, we were chilling with the knights, but the knights are gonna first and foremost care about the knights. We've been with like trying to think if we've been like along with like we had Zinnia, and it's like, yeah, we care about Zinni, but Zinni's got her own things going on. She's not gonna stick around, so it's just us. And it's like while everyone else is looking out for them, everyone's also looking out for everyone else, and she kind of doesn't want to break that cycle. So she's been very much like, what can I do to like help and be a part of this little unit that we have. Like, we've only got each other, and if anything happens to one of us, this kind of breaks the chain. This could if one of us goes, it could be all of us. So and I think I think the work environment that she was in, like, especially because it like flashbanged my head while I was listening to Eric, where Mama Marigold came back to mind. I love Mama Marigold, and I think that like while Mama Marigold was very more like a business mom sort of figurehead, or just in general more of just a general matriarch, it would have been like Mama Marigold does everything that she can for her babies. Like, her employees are her babies, they're her family. And I think Marile took several notes of that, and it's like, I can do that. I can do that. I can be that for them. I can try, at least. And I think that was something that like she really carried on with her. Yeah. I'm just like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like really impacted her. That's always something that I love, is like how, because that's so true to just life in general, is like, how do these people around you impact who you are, impact your growth or lack thereof? And because there's always certain forces that can stunt your growth as a person. So it's always interesting to me seeing characters go through similar things. So I think I say this a lot about all the players that come on here, but like Marile and Gino and Kyra and everyone like that I've like, and Omar and everyone who I've like had the pleasure to play alongside, like witness these characters being brought to life, everyone feels like people. And I'm sure I've said this on multitude of episodes, and I'm sure I've said this to you before because I can never remember the ish I say. I remember notes. I'm bad at remembering the words that come out of my mouth. But they feel like real people, and just the way you're answering the questions, like both of you, it really brings that to the forefront. Is like, these are beautiful, well-rounded people who are growing and learning, and I think it's just really fun to hear all of your thoughts and just play alongside them. So, y'all are wonderful. And I'm gonna ask, I think we got time. Blah. Got time for like 2 more questions so that we don't run too crazy long.
Okay.
Whoa, I threw that really high. I was like, this is gonna go. Oh, it went in the dice tray. That's surprising. Sorry, startled myself. It's for a Okay, this is gonna be some juice. To Anna. It's been forever, but I believe Marile once said she wasn't worthy of Nicolo. Why did she believe this, outside of, the things that she's mentioned before? She doesn't seem to be the kind of person who's ashamed of her work, and he was kind of an assassin when they met. Is it because she's half demon finding out, this is worded so strangely. I thought I reworded this. Basically, has this changed? Does she, why does she believe that? And has her perspective changed since finding out that he himself is kind of a half demon now because of the experiments in Order of the Sword?
Well, with I'm trying not to tread like similar ground because I feel like this was a similar question on the last time I was here.
Yeah, it's a similar question. That's why
yeah.
I'm like, let's reword it a little bit. Like, has
Yeah.
her perspective on her worthiness changed at all?
I feel like she's starting to like come into terms of that, where it's like it's not up to her to decide if she's worthy of somebody. Like if someone has chosen her, it's like unless she doesn't want to, that's it. Like, so I think she's still in that thing where there's still some doubt, because again, we're in such a high strung, emotionally high environment. Just because he's realized that he's actually in love with her and that he wants to stay with her, now that the world is saved and the status quo returns and other people are once again an option, will that change? Was that all just high emotions? She's not sure. Like she'll play it safe and she'll have fun in how she's had, even though it's funny enough she has yet to even like they've only had a smooch. They've not had any sort of like, oh, Nicolo Marile private time. They're gonna fucking no. They've not had any of that yet. Marile has been completely like virgin right now with Nicolo. Like very, very puppy love, very careful, very scared, because she's never like truly fallen in love before. So this is completely new ground. And even though Nicolo used to be an assassin, as far as she knows, he chose that. And knowing that he came from a normal upbringing and that he chose to join the Order of the Sword, that almost even kind of further solidifies to her he chose his life. He was given the privilege to choose what direction he wanted to take. He could have, after going to school and getting an education, kept furthering that and been a regular Italian businessman, and or been a dad or been anything. But he joined this demon order, this demon killing order, or whatever the Order of the Sword is. I can't remember anymore. But like he essentially just he chose that. She never chose her life. She did what she thought she could do. Like she thought this was her only option. She didn't think she had that choice. So like when she goes back and it's like Nicolo uprooted his life because she had told Theo, she was like, I don't know where he came from. He could have had a lover, he could have had friends, he could have had a family that he just decided to throw away to take some whore to America and protect her that he just met. Like, what's wrong with this dude? Like, what's wrong with this dude? Because I'm probably sure they've never truly talked about what they left behind. Mostly because in this case, bitchier Marile would have totally not cared about that. But like, she was just like, am I worth that? So now it's that case of she's letting herself not like she's trying her best to not let the brainworms win and trusting Nicolo. Because yeah, she loves Nicolo, she wants to be with Nicolo, but she's also seen people claim to love her and claim to want her, and it mostly being a flight of fancy or her accidentally charming them. And it never being something that truly was like in the heart. So I mean, knowing that for some reason her charm, quote unquote, doesn't work on Nicolo is like, oh, okay, there's something maybe. Or maybe I'm just really bad at this and I didn't know. like
or I suck.
Or I suck. Or maybe it's the fact that you are a half demon because I can't charm Dante. He's a half demon. So, so there's a lot of like rationale trying to go on in Marile's head that like she wouldn't blame Nicolo if after all said and done he's like, actually I want to try to do me. I want to try. I've had to live with you for a year and deal with you. Maybe I want to deal with somebody else for a year before I think about like settling down and stuff. And she wouldn't blame him for that. She wouldn't blame him for that. So she definitely still has some doubts of self-worth and if she's worth Nicolo's time and effort and love. But she's right now being like, cut it out, me. Trust what he says. If he truly means what he says, then he'll show me that. And I need to listen to him. I need to trust him. So now it's like, it's let Nicolo prove himself. Don't write him off because of your anxieties and your fears and your insecurities. That's not fair. So yes. The answer is yes. She still doubts herself a lot.
Hey, I'm here for these long answers. I'm just sitting here going, give me words.
I have a lot of brain rot with those two specifically, and it's at least in my case, it feels like it's like, oh, Marile, you're being too hard on yourself, and she's like, you don't understand.
Yep. But I do. I made you.
I don't understand. I need therapy. I'm not ready. This is a commitment.
These are hard.
This is commitment. I can't turn back once I say yes to the ring. What if he pulls out a ring? What do I do?
Yep.
I don't know. Try, I don't know.
Look, all I'm telling you right now, Theo, is if Arden ever bends a knee and pulls out a little box, the first thing you do is check for cameras. There's always somebody recording.
Okay.
You never know. And if someone is recording, think about what happens. Really think about whether. Think of two words in your head: yes and no, and then wait until he opens the box. Because it could be like fries or something.
Oh, if it's fries, then it's yes.
And that's
say no.
And that's how Arden proposes to Fia.
Yeah.
With a box of fries. just brings her a Jack in the Box. Will you marry me, Theo?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. If it's this forever, fuck yeah, man.
Oh, man.
I'll avoid kissing you so we don't explode the world, but I'll happily steal your last French fry.
While you eat my last French fry.
That would be it.
Wait, I promise I will always steal the last French fry.
It's like, oh, sure.
Yeah, we can call that a proposal.
Yeah. Wait, it's not?
Some people might say it's not.
Well, they can fucking fight me. I fought Dante and I have a sword in me, so they can suck a dick. They don't get to make the rules.
Fucking. Alright, we're gonna ask another question. Hope y'all is for Eric.
Oh,
Ho, hoppa, hoppa-pa-ta-pa, hoppa.
For Gino.
oh.
Honestly, with us having had so much DMS lately and us playing yesterday, I'm really happy that it's so DMS centric. I'm having a great time. Gino has mentioned he might leave the Knights of Ulyssia after things with the Adramelech are over. Does he have any plans outside of supporting Emmanuel? Is there anything he would want to do with that new freedom?
Oh, that's a good question. Heckin'.
It is. Answer it.
It
Imagine
is.
if I
The
was just
timer's
like, that's
on.
a good question.
The timer's on.
And they didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I think he'd probably want to like travel and just like maybe take a trip back to hell, or maybe just kind of see what's like, see the world, see both worlds, if he could. But that's an outside of like Manny's well-being, right? So
Mhm.
okay.
What does he
Uh,
want? What does he want for himself?
want? He wants just the freedom to do what he wants and what he loves, which is fight. So he'd probably do a devil. He'd probably be a devil hunter, still. But he'd take very specific jobs and be like, which ones are the ones that are like fucking evil as hell, though? Like, which if it's just like people like Theo that are just chilling, fuck that. No, I ain't gonna go after that. But like, what are the big ones? Like, what are the Veilfars? What are what are all the like the ones that like are really need taken down? And he'd
The
probably
big
do that. He'd probably,
boys.
yeah. So he'd probably just do that, and travel is the biggest thing that comes to my mind. Because he knows so little of everything that I think he would want to see everything.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta take Manny to Universal.
Did that. Yeah, for sure.
We all need to ride the Jurassic World ride. Go on the Mummy, do all that shit, that really shitty Transformers ride.
Yeah.
It's not shitty. There's just a lot going on, and it's hard to, keep track of what's going on. It's a lot.
Need to go to Disney.
Yeah.
Go to Disneyland and all world, doesn't matter. I just want a churro.
The mouse ears.
On the mouse ears, behind my horns. Or in front of them, whatever looks... No, they'd have to be behind, because my horns go off the forehead, duh.
Yeah. Heckin', especially if he gets his body back, though. Like, I think that would be another just like reason for him to travel, because like I want to eat all the food from everywhere. Like,
What
I
is
think that's
fuck?
a big dream for him.
Time to
What
learn
kind
what
of
fuck
food?
is.
Right? What is the fuck?
What is the fuck? I think as soon as like I remember there being a moment back when we were at Angel's Light
Mhm.
where Marile and Theo, that they had their little anime emerge in swimsuits moment, and we're like, what do you think? And Gino was like, I don't know, but it's positive.
You have less
I think the
clothes
moment
on.
that he gets his body back, he would understand why he felt that way. It's like, oh yeah, girls are hot.
To quote the greatest anime dub of all time, Golden Boy, it would be a case of boing. Oh my
But
god.
yeah, I think he just want to take his new body for a test drive if he
Oh
gets it.
hell yeah.
In all the ways. But yeah.
Do you want him to be hot? Do you want Gino to be a hottie?
Of course I do.
He has to be. Everyone's hot.
It's DMS. He's gotta be hot.
Everyone's hot.
I have ideas for what he could look like.
Yeah.
Like if I was given the complete creative freedom to create his design, I have ideas. But like, who knows what'll end up happening?
I want him
I'm-
to
I-
still be stupidly tall.
Oh, I feel like that's kind of that'll be baked in. I feel like
I feel like he still needs to be like 7 feet tall.
And buff. He used to be
And
like,
buff.
I mean,
like
yeah.
Ito.
he
What
would
Ito
still
could've
have
been.
everything he needs to.
What Ito should have been.
Yeah.
You have everything he needs to still like be his classes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna be like some fucking squishy wizard body and be like, all right, I'm gonna lift my giant axe. Like,
He's anime buff, where it's just strength of heart.
yeah.
That's close to all the time we have, but we're talking about Gino, and we're talking about his body. And I want to ask this last question.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about his body, what are
Uh-huh.
some of Gino's concerns about being put into a new body, if he has any?
I think the only like slight the only concern he had, I don't think he has any right now, but he had a concern that like, yeah, it'll be a new body, but will it have like all the things that like, you know, normal bodies have, where it's like organs and stuff like that? Like, will I be able to eat and taste things? Will I be able to feel cold? You know, like, will I be able to like, do all that shit? And he asked Briar, be like, hey, are you sure this is like, it'll be this way, right? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem.
Like,
And
I can do that.
at that point, I think that concern was kind of wiped away. And now I think
Mhm.
he's just like, I see no negatives as of right now.
Yeah.
Anything is an improvement over this.
Over being Alphonse Elric.
Basically, yeah. I do remember last session, just as a small aside, someone would be like, removing the brain would kill anybody, and Gino's just sitting here like, not me. I don't got one.
Yep. He's like, I don't have to worry about that.
This low-key makes me want to see like a Wizard of Oz AU.
If I only had a brain. That's so
Gino's
funny.
the fucking Tin Man, and fucking who the fuck Arden's like the lion.
You know what? I want Arden to be Dorothy. I don't know why, but that's where my fucking brain went.
Who's is Manny gonna be like Toto?
Sure.
Someone, I don't know, like I'm trying to think like who could Manny
What
be?
would Manny be? Manny's
Manny-
the
I mean,
fucking
the-
wizard.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
god. I was gonna say like Bastet could be like the Toto.
Yeah. It's fucking Manny's Adventures in Oz. Oh my god.
I don't think we're in New Fransokyo anymore, Gino.
I was about to correct you to San Francisco, and I'm like, no, that's not correct, Hayden. Oh my god. That's just gonna live in my brain forever now, and I'm just thinking about that. I'm like, I have shit to do. But now I'm just gonna be thinking about the Wizard of Oz.
But what if like Nicola was the lion?
Yes. Nicolo's the lion.
Absolutely
fucking-
deadpan ass
Just
face,
dead
just wearing a
pass.
stupid lion
Yeah.
costume.
Who would be the Scarecrow?
Oh man.
Would the Scarecrow be Arden?
I could
Because
see
the
that.
Scarecrow wants a brain and the Tin Man wants a heart.
Yeah. I did
Uh,
get those mixed up. Huh. I mean, both could kind of work for
They-
Gino because
mhm,
Gino's
no, they
just
could
Oh
work.
yeah, I was about to say
Tin Man.
Gino could be the Scarecrow pretty easily.
he would be the same, just with a bunch of straw in him.
Yeah, just
Yep.
like straw poking out of all the holes.
It's Manny's school play.
They
He finally gets to go to a real school. And he fucking brings a little bus.
they put a hat on him and some plaid, and it's just like, we can't put the pants on him. Just stuff him with straw, and they'll get the point.
It's like the pants just have like rips from all the pointy parts.
Theo's Toto. I know you're hungry. Shut up, Toto. Speaking of boof borfs, Theo's just like,
Arf, arf.
Fucking someone has to carry you like a fucking tiny little dog.
oh my god. This is the best timeline. I like this timeline.
I don't know if Modile would be Glinda or the evil witch. I don't know which one she would be.
Oh my god. Theo is the evil witch. Marile is an entirely too sexy Glinda.
Marley came down in a bubble dog.
Her sister was a witch.
It's like, are you a good witch or a bad witch? They say I'm a good witch, but I think I'm pretty bad.
Child friendly.
Oh, yeah.
School
yeah.
play funded by Angel's Light.
They're like, no, Manny, we're going to make your school play one to remember. You need a bigger, more fantastic venue. And that's why we're doing it at the Angel's Light. There's a bar there! There's a bar there! The adult can come too.
The parents will be able to sit through the fucking children's play.
You can have the parent-teacher conferences there.
Oh my god.
I guess in the case of doing it at the Angel's Light, it'd be she came down on a fucking pole, dog.
She came down on a pole! She just freaking has like her arm, and she just like swivels down the pole.
That's like the spin. Oh my god, don't die, Anna.
Oh my god.
That's great.
We should have
love
this.
it.
I don't think DMS would ever get all the way to Halloween, but that'd be a funny Halloween game.
Trying to improv a school play. So good. I love it. God. Oh, my cheeks hurt. I think that's a really good word.
Now you have it in your brain too, audience.
You're welcome.
I await your fan art.
Oh my god, please. If you're gonna do fan art of any Wits and Crits episodes, this one, please. Oh, well, that's all the time we have with these wonderful beans. How about you go ahead and let the fine people at home know where they can find you. Let's start with Eric. I burped. Go ahead.
You can find me as heckin' Eric VA on Twitter, EREHCVA. Heckin' I retweet a lot and I don't do much else, but I edit stuff for Hayden sometimes, and you can go check that out over on the Scylla Aria channel. Look at that, I'm turning my plug into a plug for you. But yeah, heckin' you can come check out Cool Kid streams on Tuesdays at heckin' 9 p.m. PST, or not PST, EST. And those are a good time. We're about to finish up Spider-Man. By the time this comes out, it'll probably already be over. But yeah, we're about to play Persona 3, so that'll be a really heckin' good time.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm not biased.
Not at all. Why would you be?
I can't imagine why.
But yeah, that's about me.
Hell yeah. What about you, Anna?
You can find me in various places. You can find me on Twitch, on Twitter, on YouTube, all under Squeakychiona, just Squeaky, Chiona for that last half. Even if you spell it wrong, you might be able to find me. No one else has my name anywhere, and it's great. I mostly just kind of stream and do random little shenaniganry on Twitter. I mostly just kind of say my opinions that no one asked for. But I mostly just stream on the weekends, on Saturdays, right after Nat 19. So, yeah, that's pretty much all wheres you can find me, honestly. Not really much else.
Woohoo!
And if you want more of your host ghost with the most, you can find me over on Twitter at HeyBellVoice. You can find me on Instagram. What?
No, continue. I just recognized the reference that you did.
Tee. You can find me on Instagram at HeyBillVoice. I very rarely post there. You can find me Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch as Scylla Aria, SYLLAARIA. All of my beautiful TikToks and clips are edited by Eric because he is the backbone of the Scylla Aria brand. None of those would get posted without him. So if it's funny ha-has, thank Eric. Anyway, you can find me over there. You can also find me more over on Net19. I stream this. What's up? Welcome to my show. And I'm also doing Chaos Crew every second Wednesday with Brayden Alexander. And we do Chaos Crew, and it's real funny, and it's us just being giant dweebs. But if you want more of Net19, which why wouldn't you? You can tune in Monday through Wednesday for our gaming streams with the cast, and now Thursdays as well. But it's now Monday through Thursday, or every second Thursday, we have gaming streams. Monday is Cutie Cult. I don't have this written down, so I always have to do it from memory, and I always fuck it up. Monday is Cutie Cult with Aaron Parnell, Spencer Downs, and Carrie Johnston. Tuesday is the Cool Kids, as Eric mentioned, with Eric, Cody, Izzy, and right now Anthony as well. Wednesdays for Chaos Crew, it's myself and Brayden Alexander, and every second Thursday we are playing currently we are playing Baldur's Gate for Laid Back Laidlaw with myself, Logan, Eric, and Cody, and other people can jump in and out if they feel like it. And that alternates with our Princes of the Apocalypse game DM'd by Aaron Robert Parnell. And Saturdays right now are Devil's Might Surrender. So if you want more of the chaos that we've been talking about for the last couple hours, please tune in. We're nearing the end of the campaign and I'm not ready. We're level 17 right now. It's supposed to go to level 20 and I'm not ready to say goodbye to another baby this year. But it's about to happen and I'm not prepared. But if you are interested in our merchandise or you want to know more about our team, you can visit us at nat19show.com. That's nat19show.com. And you can find our merchandise, information about our teams, about our shows. You can find links to our shows, all that good stuff. And you can also find links to our Patreon, which helps keep the show going. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.